Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm your presenter Mervin. Thank you for joining us. Topping the headlines, the Ministry of Education is concerned about boys' performance at the Grade 6 National Assessment. Positive developments recorded from geothermal exploratory project, and Dominica welcomes its new ambassador from the United Mexican States. All these stories and more when National Focus returns. Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. The Ministry of Education is concerned about the low performance of a small fraction of boys at this year's Grade 6 National Assessment. Education Minister Honorable Peter Seja made the observation at a news conference call to announce the results of this year's Grade 6 National Assessment on Monday. Of the 1,191 students who wrote this year's exams, 601 were boys.
Just about 10% of our boys still obtain grades that are below average. And that is a serious concern for us at the Ministry of Education, because when compared to the girls, we see that the females are outperforming their male counterparts. The results seem to indicate that it has to do a whole lot with the reading, the performance in reading. It tells us clearly that reading is key to the success of any students. Students who did well after 3 years of primary school, they do well at the Grade 6 National Assessment. They continue to do well at secondary and at the college level. Students whose reading is below average, after 3 years of primary education, we notice that they're doing poorly.
The Education Minister made a passionate plea to parents to play a more important role in encouraging early reading habits in their children.
It is clear, therefore, that parents must encourage. I want to repeat that parents, inclusive of the fathers, must encourage students to read from the earliest levels. Read to your children. Allow them to read to you. Work with the children if they are to achieve success.
Meanwhile, the Curriculum Unit of the Ministry of Education is reporting that reading levels of primary school students as measured by the Grade 2 National Assessment have improved in recent years. Senior Education Officer in the Ministry of Education, Nicholas Goldberg, says this trend is encouraging and will ultimately see an improvement of students' performance at the Grade 6 National Assessments. Mr. Goldberg made that observation when he addressed the Ministry of Education press conference on Monday.
Reading levels as measured by the Grade 2 National Assessment have improved from around 70% reading at above grade level in 2007. It's now well over 80% in 2012. So the numbers who are reading poorly has reduced year after year after year. So that, because of the strong correlation between the Grade 2 reading levels and the Grade 6 performance, with the reducing numbers of students reading poorly, will reduce the numbers of students getting low grades at the Grade 6. So although it's a percentage, that percentage we confidently expect to be reduced over the next few years as the reading levels have continued to improve.
And Education Minister Honorable Peter Seja has commended primary school teachers for their input in preparing students for the Grade 6 National Assessment. The minister took time to highlight the work of teachers who go the extra mile in ensuring that students excel during the release of this year's results earlier this week.
There are some schools that must be commended. We have a cadre of teachers who are doing a tremendous job with our students, and these principals and teachers must be commended. In fact, it is very clear that some teachers make an extra effort to work with these students, and the trend seems to indicate that even when these teachers are moved from one school to another, that the pattern of success follows them. And I must commend those teachers for such a tremendous effort.
The minister also had high praise for officers within the Ministry of Education.
Very important. I want to commend Mr. Goldberg and his team at the Ministry of Education who year after year behind the scenes, people don't see them, but behind the scenes for one entire year, they work to ensure that these exams are well put together, administered and corrected on time so that we do not disappoint the general public. And Mr. Goldberg, publicly, I want to commend you for the professional manner in which you and your team, I want to commend the Chief Education Officer for ensuring that systems are put in place to deliver on time.
The government has decided that more stringent measures will have to be adopted to ensure that only those deserving of the school transfer grant will receive such assistance. Through government school transfer grant program, hundreds of needy parents across the island have in recent years been receiving assistance from government to assist with the purchase of school uniform and textbooks. Education Minister Honorable Peter Sejan said this week that the Labour Party administration is cognizant of the fact that many parents continue to be faced with financial difficulties, hence the need for government to reach out and come to their assistance.
We recognize, as government, the Labour Party administration recognizes the times in which we live, that we are faced with serious economic challenges, and consequently, this year, our support for students will continue. By that I mean, we will continue the transfer grant for students who have difficulties. We will continue the provision of textbooks for disadvantaged families, and we will continue the support for provision of uniforms for the students who are faced with those challenges.
The minister notes, however, that due to scarce financial resources, the Ministry of Education will have to ensure that those receiving assistance are truly deserving of such help.
I want to be clear on this, that there will be much more controls this year in determining the individuals who benefit from these safety nets to ensure that the assistance reaches those people who are really deserving of it. I want to say very clearly that it is not a free-for-all, but that this support will be geared, directed at the group of individuals who really experience difficulties, cannot provide, and thus the government of Dominica will step in and provide for them.
The Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development over the years has established several safety net programs aimed at assisting less advantaged families to ensure that all students have equal access to a well-balanced and high-quality education. The government anticipates the execution of a new venture designed to further improve the effectiveness of the public service. Honorable Ambrose George, at the launch of Public Service Day last week, spoke of an e-government for regional integration project which will soon be realized. He described that venture.
The creation of this enabling environment allows government to meaningfully utilize public officers and other development partners, both locally, regionally, and extra-regionally. This kind of partnership is paramount and is increasingly recognized as necessary for transparent, equitable, sustainable, connected, and inclusive public administration.
Minister George explained the purpose for the e-government for regional integration project.
At a regional level, we look forward to the full implementation of the e-government for regional integration project, which aims at 1. To promote efficiency, quality, and transparency of public service, while at the same time achieve economies of scale. 2. To strengthen and harmonize government's processes, structures, and legal frameworks. 3. To provide an enabling environment in the context of global competitiveness.
The Telecommunications Minister also said that through this environment, the public service and other developmental partners, both locally and abroad, will be able to meaningfully contribute to equitable public administration. Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Honorable Peter Sejan, strongly condemns parents who go to school compounds and verbally abuse teachers. The minister has called on principals who have witnessed those incidents at their schools to inform the Ministry of Education.
The school manager that is the principal, is the final authority within the confines of his or her school. And as such, that principal must assume his or her role as the manager of that institution. If, however, there is a breach of any nature that surpasses the bounds of that principle, then he or she ought to report to the Ministry of Education, and the matter will be dealt with a sense of urgency. So please, I admonish that the matter be reported. If for example, you feel that you need fencing or something of that sort, which ought not to be, as AG rightly said, but if the peace and safety and well-being of the students is threatened and that of the teachers, then the matter must be reported with a sense of urgency to my ministry, and we will deal with that.
Despite the criticisms of the Education Act within some circles, the Act also addressed the issue and protects the teachers from these attacks.
Section 159, subsection 1 reads as follows: a person who A. is found loitering, wandering, or otherwise trespassing on the premises of any school, B. creates a disturbance on the premises of any school which is directly avoided, C. while on the premises of any school, uses threatening or insulting language, or in any manner interferes with any student or member of staff of the school. 2. assaults, insults, or abuses any student or member of the staff of the school. Or 3. disrupts any lawful activity conducted on the premises of the school. D. in a public place causes or makes a noise that disturbs or is likely to disturb any lawful activity carried out on the premises of the school. Or E. commits any damage to any school building or other property found on the premises of or forming part of the compound of the school, is guilty of an offense and liable on summary conviction to a fine of $2,000 and 1 year in prison. Not all, and 1 year in prison. Both. A person who commits an offense under subsection 1 may be arrested by any member of the police force with or without a warrant.
A splendid and prosperous future is predicted for relations between the United Mexican States and Dominica, so says new ambassador of the United Mexican States to Dominica, His Excellency Edmundo Font Lopez. The new ambassador presented his letters of credentials with wishes of success and a beneficial alliance to Dominica's President, His Excellency Dr. Nicholas Liverpool, on Wednesday.
We have always had excellent relations and good friendship. As a country belonging to the Great Caribbean, Mexico has one of its priorities to achieve a greater bond with the region. And President Calderón has highlighted on many occasions the importance for Mexico to strengthen its ties with the English-speaking Caribbean countries, particularly with members of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, with whom we share similar goals and challenges. As President Calderón mentioned during the second CARICOM-Mexico Summit, the cooperation for development is one of the main challenges we face. For that reason, I totally agree that we must promote the exchange of experiences in key areas to increase the competitiveness of our economies and to provide employment to our people. We can collaborate and share experiences in areas such as tourism, trade facilitation, transportation, and port modernization.
His Excellency Dr. Liverpool received the new ambassador with anticipation of stronger mutual cooperation between the two countries.
Your Excellency, I note your commitment to continue and deepen the work of your predecessors in maintaining and strengthening the bonds of friendship and cooperation which already exist between our countries. We look forward to the strengthening of mutual cooperation in areas of common interest and to even closer ties as we continue our search for a brighter future. Dominica will make every effort to explore avenues of increased cooperation between our two countries. Our cooperation with your country in the regional and international arena can be counted upon. and we look forward to providing continued support for the candidacy of the United Mexican States on various regional and international bodies in appropriate circumstances.
His Excellency Lopez shares his country's intention to help develop the island by continuing to provide scholarships for Dominica.
My mission will be to increase the cultural program in our two countries and to have more people of the Commonwealth of Dominica benefiting of the scholarships that the Mexican government offers in order for students to return and make a vibrant contribution in their country upon their return.
Officials of the geothermal energy project in the Roseau Valley have recorded positive developments in the ongoing exploratory phase of the project. On Wednesday, the third well located in Watton Waven was officially tested. Will Osborne of the Geothermal Resource Group told GIS News that this morning's exercise proved rewarding for engineers.
This is WW1, excellent result. Well, looks very strong so far. I would have to guess it's a couple of megawatts at least, but it's only partially open. And this is just a test well, a small diameter test well. So for this small well, it's a very good result.
Alexis George of the Geothermal Energy Project spoke with GIS News on Wednesday about the exercise and what it could mean for Dominica's energy production pursuits.
I'm very excited. The well looks very good so far. We still have to determine how much energy output that it has, but so far it is very good. It was a good decision that they actually took to go ahead with the exploration. I mean, it's been a number of years that we've been speaking about geothermal energy, but finally got a chance to do the testing and prove the resource. So now it's nothing but a positive outlook for in terms of energy production here in Dominica.
Judge explains what is next for the island's geothermal energy project.
We're gonna be compiling all the results from the free wells. That will tell us the size of the reservoir and the quality to see how much electricity or how much megawatts that we can generate from the reservoir. And then we'll be looking at a small power plant possibly for local to put on the local grid. So that's where we are right now.
In other news, efforts were made this week to develop a national strategy to promote work safety and health. This was the objective of a national symposium on occupational health and safety, which was held on Tuesday at the Public Service Training Center. The activity was hosted by the Environmental Health Department in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization.
Workplace safety and health will be given the needed priority in the national disease prevention. Increased collaboration among the various stakeholders. The fourth outcome is occupational diseases and injury included in the national disease surveillance system. Fourth, occupational safety and health included into national development programs. And the fifth one, the general public becoming more aware of health and safety issues of the workplace.
Tuesday's symposium also identified gaps in the present system of workplace health programs and also sought to develop a plan to increase public awareness of workplace health and safety issues.
The unions are indeed concerned about the conditions of employment of their workers and work constantly together with the Labor Department and the employers' representative to ensure that persons continue, despite of the circumstances globally, regionally, and nationally, to be engaged in gainful employment in an environment that is safe.
The Labour Commissioner, in his address at the official opening of Tuesday's symposium, voiced some of his concerns about health and safety practices in the workplace.
People have disregarded for a long time matters of occupational safety and health, and a lot of persons have lost their life and lost their limbs and members of the body as a result of negligence or irresponsible behavior or irresponsible attitude towards work on a whole. And in Dominica, it is very significant.
A permanent secretary in the Ministry of Trade, Ruth Alport, encouraged employers to recognize that occupational health and safety goes beyond legal responsibility.
The legal mandate of the Employment Safety Act is brought sharply into focus, and employers need to be fully responsive not only to the legal requirement to protect the health, safety and welfare of the employees and the other people who might be affected by their businesses, but also the moral responsibility to do so.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Trade has pledged her support towards the development and implementation of a strategic plan for occupational and health safety.
The proposed strategic plan aims to improve public health and conditions and awareness through multi-sectoral cooperation and to directly involve the workers and employers in introducing a health-promoting culture at the workplace. Workplace health has taken on renewed impetus due to the awareness of the various hazards which workers face daily. There is a need to address all aspects of workers' health, including primary prevention of occupational hazards, protection and promotion of health at work, and improved response from health systems to health workers.
And that's the English segment of the news. We now join Macpherson St. Louis for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi c'est Macpherson St. Louis. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, qui a fait parole qui bagaille qui a meilleur l'intérêt Dominicien, qui a fait attention pour le budget 2012-2013. Sinon, Premier ministre Skerritt, le gouvernement a considéré ça fait l'argent qui a ramassé des sangs et puis le gouvernement n'y a dépensé plus l'argent pour courir pays là. Et les Dominicains ça gardé devant le gouvernement continue mettre mesures en place couper à si bagaille qui pas nécessaire. Honorable Skerritt dit gouvernement qui a annoncé une date pour présentation budget là tout de suite et puis succès l'autre l'année financière là qui dépend à ces coopérations tout Dominicains. À la nouvelle, le département santé environ conduit un symposium national qui mettait attention à ces santé pour les gens qui travaillent en diverses occasions. Selon le chef département santé environ Anthony Scotland, travailler supposé bien protecté à ces occasions où là il travaille.
Nous allons regarder les conditions de gens qui travaillent. On a des gens qui travaillent dans l'environnement qui a plus de poussière, des gens qui sont exposés pour des vie fum vie l'ordre ça quelque ça inil OK on est monde qui yo pas ni là yo travaille pas ni toilet yo pas manager environnement en bon manière so il on pile watt là on pile avec là on pile bail comme moustique so là où même travaille envoyer ça ni bonnette OK. Eh bien, si vous travaillez, c'est en femme. Si vous travaillez en agriculture. Là où vous travaillez en agriculture, il dit toi des gens où ça tape. C'est on y bagaille comme là où spray ces chemicals là. On y pour servir rubber boots, on y pour ni global la mer. On y pour ni ça qui respirator pour bailler cawote cadavre. So moun sa qui a spray ça qui est dangerous chemical. Dangerous chemical. Il pour protect koi. Il pour c'est comme habiller koi de manière pour pêcher ça qui est en hazard, en chemical.
Mon différents départements attendent symposium là.
Nous menons mon hors différentes places, mon qui travaille en gouvernement, mon qui travaille à l'office, labor union, nous mon private sector mon qui industrie comme mining, mon qui en l'école setting, puis ça l'école là ça des problèmes tout ça. Moun qui a l'hôpital, moun qui a health center, toutes ces institutions ça ni on pile déjà qui ça affecte ça qui ça fait moun malade. Vous comprenez? So toutes ces moun ça qu'a regarder dit toi bagaille Dominique comment travailler là qu'a rouler et bien nous regarder contre loi puis c'est dit toi là loi pays là aussi qui a continué comment moun qui a employé moun et ben moun qui a travaillé ba moun ni conduit quoi yo.
Pendant la nouvelle, le gouvernement Dominique déjà dépensé $25 millions à ce projet de l'eau tout mon pays là. Parole celle-là sorti au ministère management de l'eau, honorable Reginald Ostring.
Nous bâti plusieurs systèmes de neuf. Là nous fait repairs, là nous manger système de qui existe. Dernier là nous fait c'est un grand fond. Là nous tapons l'argent de BNTF pour faire un projet qui a coûté nous $2,300,000 pour système de grand fond. Nous déjà fait Campbell, nous fait Wana, nous fait Petit Savane, nous fait Delis, nous fait Antrim. Après ça, nous avons couru Kenfield pour aller St. Joe, nous finissons ça. Et nous avons couru encore Salisbury pour Capucin, West Coast Water System. Et nous avons Gotan, Clermont Bruce, ça déjà complète. Et ça a coûté nous presque $4,500,000 pour nous faire ça. Et Penville aussi, qui a coûté nous presque $3 millions pour nous mener en village Penville.
Et puis finalement, ministre de l'Éducation, honorable Peter Saint-Jean, qui a fait parole qui ministre de l'Éducation bien satisfait et puis résultat examination grade 6 qui sorti lundi semaine cela. Honorable Saint-Jean qui a complimenté ces étudiants-là, teacher et parents pour succès cela. Quand même, ministère là qui a crié à ses parents pour pas en échange motivation aux enfants à yo grade 6, mais toutes les yo en l'école. Quand même, yon ti bagay là qui a concerné ministre éducation, c'est manière fille qui a fait meilleur passer garçon en ces sujets là, et spécialement en sujet maths. Ministre Saint-Jean qui a gardé devant, tout étudiant tapé place en l'école secondaire par septembre l'année cela. Le gouvernement a awardé 95 scholarships, avec 26 bursaries en parmi d'autres passes. Finalement, le ministère de l'Éducation, honorable Saint-Jean, a créé à ses parents pour jouer un pas plus significant et puis encourager les enfants ailleurs pour les plis comme ça autant important pour le développement ailleurs. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles à Creole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est Macpherson St. Louis. Au revoir.
When we come back, we'll bring you a few upcoming events and the government notices. Do stay with us.
You're watching GIS.
Time now for a few government notices. Residents of Grand Bay and surrounding communities are invited to the cabinet-initiated program of community meetings on antisocial behavior to be held at the Old Fort from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Thursday, June 28. Please make every effort to attend and to be on time. The parliamentary representative for the Roseau South constituency, Honorable Ambrose George, invites the residents of Kings Hill to a meeting on Thursday, June 28, 2012 at 6 p.m. at the Youth Center on Center Street. Please make every effort to attend and to be on time. The residents of Eggleston are cordially invited to a community disaster preparedness meeting on Thursday, June 28, 2012 at 6 p.m. at Lily's Disco. The residents are specifically requested to attend and participate in the development of the disaster plan for Eggleston. Please make every effort to attend and to be on time. And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments. Feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm, or you could visit our website at news.gov.dm, or you could visit our GIS Dominica page on YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Mervin Matthew. Thank you for watching.